Well, what a difference a day makes. Yesterday it was 1 degree, 33 degrees Fahrenheit. Today it's 15, so what's that, 60, almost double. There's a slight breeze blowing on the beach, but I can't get over how warmer, how milder it's become in literally less than 24 hours. Cuckoo weather, bizarre weather that we're having right now. Today's coffee sponsor is nobody, on account of the fact that nobody bought me a coffee. On account of the fact that only about 10 people saw the video that I did on the beach the other day. At the moment, every single day I walk this beach, so it's a no-brainer for me to whip out my pocket-free camera here and just start talking away. A lovely sunset happening over my left shoulder here. It's nice to see the sun. Yesterday was abysmal. I bought some gloves yesterday because I thought winter's finally here and I would be wearing them today down on the beach. I'm not expecting in a month of Sundays for the temperature to skyrocket back up to the mid-teens, where I could virtually get away without having this little thin jacket on. It's that mild and warm. And crikey, it's December on Monday. It's almost time to put the lights up around the house, crack out the Christmas songs. I'll start listening to Coldplay Christmas Lights. It's my favourite Christmas song of all time. Not before December. If you can hear me today, because it's really quite windy to be fair. But Christmas can be quite a lonely time for a lot of people. Not everybody gets that warm, fuzzy feeling inside, looking forward to this time of year. A lot of people are lonely. A lot of people have lost their loved ones. They've lost their life support, their lifeline. And Christmas is just a bind. An occasion or an experience that people just want to get through as quick as possible because it reminds them so much of how lonely they are. It's no coincidence that Age Concern UK and charities like this really up the ante at this time of year, because so many people could just do with a little bit of company and companionship. It's why I go in the coffee shop every single morning. You have no idea how lonely some people truly are. And if you can just engage somebody in a 5-10 minute conversation and listen to their life, take time, take stock, some time out of your day to sit and listen to a stranger. They're only a stranger the first few times you talk to them. After that, they become friends. We should all take a leaf out of that book. We should all spend time speaking to a stranger. We should all spend time letting somebody just tell you about their life, letting them put a smile on their face. The amount of times someone said to me, "Thank you for stopping to chat." Now, I'm not saying this to blow smoke up my backside and saying how fantastic am I because I chat to people. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is we're all human. We all have the exact same emotions as our neighbours, as the next person we see. And sometimes all people want to do is to communicate with another fellow human. Christmas time is a time where not everybody gets to do that. So next time you're in a coffee shop, smile, say hello to the person in front of you at the queue, offer to buy somebody a mince pie, do something nice, and believe me, it makes you feel good as well. Now, as I've said previously, I'm 52 now, 53 next summer. I'm not in my 20s anymore. The things that I could do back then, I can no longer do with the same virality and gusto and strength and vigour and endurance. My testosterone levels are plummeting. It happens when you get into your 50s. Your testosterone, it'd help if I can say the bloody word, your testosterone decreases by about 1% every year from about the age 29, 30, I believe. And don't quote me on that. Don't type that into chat and prove me wrong. But I know it does decline. But there are things that we can do to stop that decline. We can have therapy, we can have TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. We can feel like we're 20, 30 again as we hit mid-50s. If we truly wanted to, there are things that we can synthetically do to stop that decline. I'm not without my health battles, I'm not without my issues. And it's a pain in the arse, quite literally, to be fair. Before I wrap today's video off, I'm going to tell you a little story about how I came down here a couple of years ago with a friend of mine, and we were bodyboarding. 2 fully grown men pissing about with little foam boards because we didn't know how to surf. We had all the gear, we had wetsuits. We looked the part, but we were just farting about out in the sea. But my friend brought his GoPro. He strapped his GoPro to his chest. It was a GoPro Hero 5 or whatever it was at the time. And he hadn't clicked it onto the, you know exactly what I'm going to say here, he hadn't clicked it into the chest mount correctly. And lo and behold, we were hit by the first moderately big wave. He came out of the wave, his camera was gone. He was absolutely trashed beyond belief. He'd just bought it. He'd only just bought the damn thing a few days prior on Amazon. And he wrote it off. He thought, that's gone. I'm never going to find it again. But I had a brainwave. I had one of those ideas that made me think, the sea, it comes in and it goes out thanks to the moon, thanks to the tides, the magnetism that the moon puts onto the tides. So I knew that the sea was going to retreat. And I knew that there was a chance that the camera could be on the sand or there or thereabouts. That's what I thought anyway. So I came back down when the tide had gone out a couple of hours later and spent 10 minutes scoping along the beach, and then a glint in the distance caught my eye. And you know when you say to yourself, no, that can't be it, that wouldn't be it. But it was a glint from the sun, and the sun was reflecting back off a piece of plastic. And as I got closer, the piece of plastic was the waterproof casing that my friend had put around his GoPro. And sure enough, his GoPro was sitting perched on a rock. I just couldn't believe it. You know, what are the chances? I mean, it's not quite a needle in a haystack, but I still managed to find myself a brand new GoPro. He doesn't know about it to this day. I'm joking, of course he does. I told him I'd found it and gave him it straight back. Yeah, it was a couple of years ago I came down here to go sea dipping, and it was transformational. It changed my life in many respects. At the time I was having a lot of problems with my mental health, and I needed an outlet. I needed somewhere to just forget about things for a while and just to immerse myself in a new hobby, a new passion, a new something, joining a new community, being part of something again. Not to mention freezing my bollocks off for 2 or 3 minutes every single day in the North Sea. The North Sea! I mean, it's unbelievable crazy. In fact, if you just go up there, I'll turn this around. There, if you follow the coastline up over the North Sea here, if you just go up to the top of the country, a little tippy-toe turn left, it's the bloody Arctic Ocean, it's freezing. And we're all out there swimming along thinking it's fine. Madness, absolute madness. So December on Monday, we're heading into another, I can open the first door on my advent calendar and have that first chocolate. It's always an exciting time. But we're into another Christmas season, and take nothing for granted in this life. Every year that passes now is a blessing. A few years ago, a young friend of mine died of cancer, a chap called Rob, who I wrote a lot about in my second autobiography, Misadventure. Rob actually was gracious enough to write the foreword for that book. A really great guy. Great guy. Got on really well with him. He inspired me lots. I admired him as a person. I admired the battle, how he took that cancer battle head on, and he wasn't afraid to share his feelings with the world, which he did on a regular basis through his social media channels. And I tried to do as much as I could to help him. You know, he always wanted to go to Everest. He read my Everest book. He always wanted to go to see base camp, and I genuinely thought one day that might happen for him. But alas not, cancer got the best and won out in this case. And he was 32-year-old. He left behind a legacy of a life lived full of love and just the outpouring of support that he had from the church on the day of his funeral. You couldn't get everybody in. It was just insane. And he was such a lovely guy, such a really nice guy. And I miss him. It's a few years ago he passed away now, but every day I think about Rob, and I think about our friendship and what it meant to me to be friends with somebody like this, and to try and help him any way I could. And go and check out Misadventure. There's a section in there called Rob, and I talk a lot about, a little bit more eloquently than I'm doing right now, I talk about how we met and Rob's cancer battle and how he inspired me and he became one of my heroes. I think the chapters of the book, there's a chapter called My Heroes, and I listed Rob as one of my heroes because of the way he confronted his cancer head on. Now, where I'm going with this little story is I want to tell you about something his mum once said to me. His mum, I think, she won't mind me saying this, but she turned 60 shortly after Rob passed away. It was a couple of years after Rob passed away, and I remember she went out to New York to celebrate her birthday. So I sent her a message and said, it's lovely to see you celebrating your birthday at last and getting on with your life, and I'm sure you'll never ever, Rob's always going to be with you, but you still have your life to live. So we were talking about reaching the giddy old heights of 60, and then I happened to mention that I was going to turn 50 soon, and that I was dreading it because I'm going to turn 50, and it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm getting this old. And the things that she said to me then is something that stayed with me to this day. And it changed and it reframed my mind, and it made me rethink how I look at aging in life. Whereas I used to regret it, and I used to think, oh, I'm getting older. It's just one step closer to the grave, so to speak. But now I don't, and it's all because of what Jenny, Rob's mum, said to me. And it was this: you should never complain about getting old. It's a privilege denied to many. And I think it might have been Mark Twain who actually said it, but I'd never heard of it when Jenny told me that. And it changed everything for me. And now I don't see aging as a problem anymore. I see it as a privilege. So every time I celebrate another Christmas, every time I celebrate another birthday, I'm just blessed that I'm still here. I'm blessed every morning that I wake up, and I'm blessed to be living this life on planet Earth and being able to talk to you like this and put my thoughts out onto this big wonderful thing called the internet and have strangers all over the planet. Okay, fair enough, maybe only 8 people and 2 people might be watching all the way through, but the possibilities there that people all over this planet can be listening to my words, it just fills me with so much amazement and wonderment that we have this in this current day and age. And that brings me into a perfect time to leave you with a quote today. And it's my own personal quote, and it feels apt to end off the video with this. You can't rewrite the beginning of your life, but you can start a new chapter right now and make the ending utterly unforgettable. I'll see you on another video. Keep wondering and keep wandering. This is bonus footage right now. I had to turn the camera back on. I was packing my camera away, but then I happened to glance up and see this beautiful sunset happening in the sky. I hope the camera's doing it justice. It really, sometimes this world is just so wonderful. I was going to say in the words of Neil Armstrong then, Louis Armstrong, what a wonderful world it can be. I'll leave you watching the sunset, and I'll see you on my next video. Buy me a coffee.
Sitting here where the sun sets low, golden rays painting skies aglow. Memories float like wisps of smoke, whispering tales from days ago.